In this video I show you a simple technique what massively improved my photography. Hi my friends, nice to see you. I want to show you a technique what really helped me to improve my photography. It's not really a technique, it's more something like a ritual. Don't fear, I don't will dance around my camera or something like this, nothing spiritual. Maybe let's call it a process, it's more a process. So when I come back from a photo tour, I usually import my pictures from my camera into my Lightroom. A usual thing, I think you will not do it much different. And what I do is I give stars to my pictures. 2 stars means it's a scouting shot only. This means I was out there, I found something of interest, I took a quick snap and think at home about the composition. Maybe I have already thought about the composition when I was there, but definitely not to the end. I have a roughly idea usually, and I want to have a look at it at home and go back there and take the final shot then. 3 stars means it's a test shot. This means I took already a little bit more time to think about the composition, about the light, about the timing, weather, everything, all these elements. I did already a video about the really important thing of a really fantastic photograph. I will link you above. But a 3-star image means there are faults inside. Not everything works. Maybe the light is wrong, maybe the weather is wrong, or the composition doesn't really work. It's not a big problem because I anyway plan to go back there then and take a 4-star image. And 4 stars means it's a final photograph. All the elements are okay. It could be it's a really good photograph, it's a really great one. So maybe the composition works, the weather works, the light works, the timing works, everything is okay. But there is still missing anything. So it's a really great photograph, but it's not a world-class shot. There is missing this tiny special thing what I have in a 5-star image. And the 5th star, the 5th, is a thing what definitely will not get each of my photographs. It's that last thing, this special thing, what makes a photograph to an absolutely wow. And the goal obviously is to get all my photographs to 5-star images. That's not always possible. And to be honest, my annual goal is to get 10 to 15 5-star images. When I get so many 5-star images in a year, I'm really happy with it. And sometimes there are more, sometimes there are less, but 10 to 15, I think this is a realistic goal, and this is what I really so love in landscape photography. You can think about what can I do better to get from the 4-star image to a 5-star image. And the thing is, on Instagram I often get the compliment like each photograph you take is just perfect. And don't get me wrong, I really appreciate such comments. It's absolutely incredible to get comments like this. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for this. But the truth is, I make much more bad photos than good photos. And I don't have a problem with this. And I think it's usual. I think there is no photographer out there who takes really more good than bad photos. So if you make more bad photos than good photos, think about it. It's really not a problem. Just think about what can you do to get 1 star more and 1 more and so on, that you reach this 5-star image. So what is this ritual or this process? Well, I never give 5 stars to an image straight after I have developed it. It's a longer process. I develop a photograph with Lightroom and come back maybe weeks or months later and have a look at them and think about, are the stars what I've given right? Is it really a 4-star image? Or maybe is it only a 3-star image? Could be that I also find some tiny things what I've overseen in the front, that's not so often, but it's more often than I think, well, it's a really fantastic photograph, but does it evoke emotions in me? Is it a wow photograph, what I only want to print out and hang up on my wall? And in this process, it's really interesting. I'm really able to improve my photography through looking at my photographs, what I've taken some weeks or months ago. And usually I do this all 2 or 3 months, but last time was already in summer last year, so I had really many pictures to go through. And I want to show you some examples now. So let's go to the computer. But before we start, some days ago I recognized that I came over 1,000 subscribers. It's absolutely amazing. I really never expected to get 1,000 subscribers. When I started this channel, I was not sure if 100 will be interesting in that, what I could tell you. So I'm really happy about this, and the number itself is not so important for me. It's more, it's really when I imagine there are 1,000 people out there which are interested in that what I tell you here in the video. So absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to each of you. I really appreciate. And I mentioned this already in one of my previous videos. My originally plan wasn't to load up a video each week. It's only because of you, because of your comments below the video, all the positive responses and feedbacks. I'm absolutely blown away. Thank you so much for this. So this photo was taken last summer. It has the title Birth of a Wild River, and it got 4 stars in summer, and I'm really happy with it. So it tells a really fantastic story of this water, what comes out from the rocks and runs down there and builds this river. It's really a fantastic photograph. I really love this contrast between this darker foreground here with all the water and this little brighter spot back there. It's really fantastic. I also love all the colors in this photograph. All the blues here in the water and these greens here in these mosses. It's really fantastic. I also love the flow through this image. We have all these lines here in the water leading us back also from this direction. It's really fantastic and I'm so happy with it. We also have this shoreline here leading back. Also from this side we have this gently diagonal also leading back there, going to the left side here, and also these lines all here leading down here, pointing to our subject, this little waterfall. I'm really happy with it. So it's really a fantastic photograph. I love the composition, I love the light in it. The weather was really perfect because we have this soft light here, exactly there where we want to have it. So the timing for the light was amazing. And also this little splashing water there. Let me zoom in a little bit. Also this splashing water back there, it's absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with this photograph. And I also have an emotional connection to this place because I remember it was at a time before I started with my vlog, so there is no video about, but I can tell you I had to walk through the water and there was a small slippery rock inside the water and I had to climb up because I wanted to have a little higher perspective down to get better flow through the image and to get the better story out of it. And it was something like, it was really not big, and I wasn't able to pull out the legs of the tripod as I usually do, so it was not really sturdy and I really feared that my camera could drop into the water or that I could slip there and lie in the water with the camera gear and no photograph. But everything worked as it should. For me, it's definitely a 5-star image. So, that's really great. I'm happy with the photograph, but let's be honest, I didn't learn anything new. It's only a confirmation that I did the things right there. So it was also a great thing, but I didn't improve my photography now. So let's have a look at the next photograph. Well, this photograph is a test shot. It has 3 stars, and I think you will agree it's not a world-class photograph. It's a test shot only. And I was there, I thought about the composition, but I had already another photograph in my mind. I was on the way to this spot, but I spotted this one and wanted to take a test shot. So our subject is this nice heap of rocks here. It looks really fantastic. I'm really happy with this heap. But the photo doesn't work as an image. And now it gets interesting. The question is why? I think it's one of the most important questions in photography. Definitely the question why. And let's have a look. First of all, we have a flow through this image. We have a little bit of yellow grasses everywhere here, what finally lead back also here around this corner, what is really a great thing, because we get a really great flow from the right corner back here, and it also leads back behind this stack of rock. So this is really great for the flow, I think, and it also goes back then there to this mountain here, and here's where I see a problem. And what we see is that we don't have a great isolation between our subject here and our mountain back there. Both are bright, both are in the sun, and it's difficult for the eyes to get a feeling of depth between our rocks, what are really close to us. You can have a look. So, I'm not sure, I think this is something like 2 or 3 meters from the camera, maybe, and this mountain back there is around 2 kilometers away. So this is what's not really great. We don't have this feeling of depth in this photograph. I think when we had this mountain back there more in the shadow, it would work. I think the daytime was not the worst. It had worked. I think it had worked. We have the shadow here in this triangle shape at the left. What I also find really great, by the way, we have this triangle here. It points to our subject, and we have also this triangle shape from this side. So the idea of the composition was not bad, but the conditions didn't allow me to get the photograph really to work. So the question is now, what can I do to get this photograph from a 3-star image to a 4-star or maybe even a 5-star, but I don't want to think so far. Let's do it step by step. And I know now I need anything here what gives me a separation between my rocks in the foreground and my mountain back there. And there are more possibilities. It could be that I decide for another light, so maybe I have another daytime or another time of the year where I don't get light on that mountain back there and only light on this heap of rocks here. This could be tricky on this location. I would prefer the light coming from the left. I think it was not the worst time, because I get this bright spot here and have this contrast here on the right side with the darks. I think this works. But I need shadow on this mountain back there, and it's difficult with the daytime, to be honest. So the only idea what I have in the moment were that I go there through other weather conditions, and this could mean maybe that I have fog up there, so that everything is in a fog and I have this mountain only soft back there, really very soft, and because this part here is very close to me, it will be sharp or sharper than the mountain back there, and maybe I get also a kind of mystic touch into this photograph, and it's quite interesting. These rocks, the shapes of these rocks tell me anything mystic. I'm not sure why. It's maybe this rock here has a little bit the shape of a gravestone, maybe. I don't know. It's not always easy to explain. In this case, I have such a mystic feeling, and what I think is I want to have a little bit of fog, maybe, what isolates these rocks in the foreground from the mountain back there. And through this fog, everything what is far away gets more and more blurred out through the fog, and everything what is closer is a little bit sharper. And I think this would work even better. Maybe I would also tweak a little bit at my composition. I'm not sure about this. I will think about it when I'm there next time. So maybe I would go with my camera a little bit more to the left, so that I don't have these grasses here at the right bottom. Maybe it's better to have these grasses here at the right bottom, so that this moves down there. And of course the perspective will change a little bit, but it could work. Also when we have shadows, everything in the background will work a little bit better. Also this nice little bush what grows up here, what currently distracts a little bit with these lines what goes through there, would work a little bit better with the fog. So I think it has potential. The only thing what I'm not 100% sure in the moment is this area here on the left, because it's a little bit of empty space. There is not really something what adds to the story, to be honest. So I would also get away from this, I think, when I go a little bit more to the left. Maybe I could also go a little bit closer then, so that I don't cut these rocks here. I think I will try it in this way then. And the goal for the next step is to get a 4-star photograph through it. And I think this should be possible. So it's a bad photograph, but it was possible to learn from it. So finally I could really say making bad photographs is good, because you can learn from it. You improve through your bad photos. And this is a really great thing. And it's so simple. You only have to go to your computer, have a look at your photographs and think about what could you do better. And don't have a look at 10 or 15 photographs at once. Pick out one photo and think about what you could do better. And really concentrate on it. This really helps to improve. So let's have a look at the next photograph. And this is a photograph which I gave 4 stars. It was in autumn last year. And the name of it is After the Rain in the Mountains. And the interesting thing is my far relative Gustav Klimt made a painting what is called After the Rain. If you don't know it, you can Google it. It's a really fantastic painting. It has nothing to do with this scenery here. The only connection here is this painting was painted just a few hundred meters from my camera position. I didn't give the title because of this. I thought about the title, After the Rain, and then I thought I can't call it After the Rain because there exists already a painting by Gustav Klimt. But, however, it is a scenery after the rain. We have all this steam here rising up from the mountains. I'm really happy with this one. So we get lots of depth into this layer here with these dark trees. It's absolutely amazing. And what I really love at this photograph is we have this layering effect with these 3 triangles here. So we have our foreground with this amazing fog and mist here in this forest coming through and rising up, and finally get resolved up there in the sky through the warm sun what shines through. It's absolutely amazing. And what I really love here is we have this hut here straight on this cliff, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm really blown away from this composition. So it's absolutely amazing, and it's unbelievable. All this fog leads to this hut, it accentuates it. So this photograph is all about timing. It was sunset, the sun came from that direction and illuminated all these clouds here, but didn't affect the foreground layer here, what is really cold and dark, and it gets more to the warm in this area here, and it gets really warm here up there in the sky. It's really amazing. The really tiny things in this composition are the clouds up there. I think this photograph would not work without these soft clouds, because when we wouldn't have these, the image wouldn't be balanced really well. We had a lot of dead space up there, but in this case it's so well balanced. It's absolutely fantastic. And we have these leading lines here from the rock, here from the clouds. You know, whenever you take a photograph with a telelens, the really tricky thing is to get depth into your photograph. And it worked here. It worked with these layers, with these 3 triangles, and it also worked with this fog up here in the trees, what isolates some of the trees down there. So I'm really happy with it, and definitely for me this is a 5-star image. And so I will give a 5th star for this image. So let's have a look at the next photo. Maybe you know this photograph. I took it on my last video when I took the photographs of the waterfall, and I also showed it in the video, and it's not really a bad photograph, but I only gave it 3 stars. So it's a test shot. And the question is, why? Well, let's have a look. I love the story what it tells. We have the water back there coming down the mountain, and we have also water spot here and this nice little waterfall here and the water running down there. So it tells the story of the water coming down the waterfall back there. We don't see the whole waterfall, what I really love at this photograph. So it gets more interesting, we don't know how big it is really, and I think this is a really good thing at this photograph. I also love the light up there in this area. It's really fantastic. We have this contrast here of these darks outside here and this illuminated wall back there, and also the water what gives a little bit of accent back there. It's really fantastic. I also love the timing of the water here. So all these lines what go down there, I love these things. Also the idea of the composition is a really great one. Let me show you. So I was really blown away from this deadwood here, what leads us into the image. So we have a really nice flow. It leads us in a zigzag up through this little waterfall and back there. It seems to work. Also we have these rocks here at the right side that frames our scenery a little bit, well balanced through the left side. So why doesn't it work? Why is it not a world-class photograph, or why doesn't it get a 4th star? Well, let's have a look. What do I not love with this photograph? And what I see here is the light was really flat here for such a photograph there. It worked for the other photographs, and I'm really happy with the most photos I took there, what you've seen in the videos. And I think it is too close now. I want to take a little bit more time to think about it, but I think that there could be more 5-star image there. What I've taken only on one day there, it was really a fantastic photo day. So and if you didn't have seen the video, I will link it above. It was really an amazing day and an amazing location there. So what I don't love with this photograph is we have lots of distracting elements here on the left. There is so many chaos here, so many stones lying there. What draws the eyes, and you don't know where you should look really. There's nothing where the eye can really land, or maybe it can land. It can land, let me show you, on this waterfall in the front, and also on the waterfall up there. And there is a little bit of competition between these two. There is not really a visual weight, and this is the problem with this photograph. There is not a visual weight. And the question is now, what can I do to get a better photograph out of it, to get a 4th star? So what I could do is, I could go a little bit closer to this little waterfall in the front and put my emphasis more on this one, so that this one gets my subject. Of course I will lose then more from this line what leads me in, from this deadwood, but you can't have everything. This will not really work. It could be that I could include a little bit of this deadwood, but it could also be that it will not work and I will not put it into my frame. So I have to go there again and try the option only to go a little bit closer, to put the deadwood into the frame, but go a little bit closer to get more emphasis to this little foreground in the front, and this will be also my subject then. I think the angle is not the worst. I think I only have to go closer to get this waterfall bigger. What I also could think about is, I'm really happy with the top side of this image. So when we have a look only at the top side, means when we would crop in here a tiny bit, maybe anywhere like here for example. really interesting. I think this were a stronger image. It's also not a world-class shot, definitely not. And I also wouldn't give the 4 star only with this crop. Because anyway we have our distracting elements here and so on. So, but it would solve lots of problems, definitely. Maybe when we change also the camera position a little bit, it could also work. But the first option I try is only to go closer with the angle I had already. And definitely it also will be necessary to get another light there, what fits more to this scenery. I love the light up here at the waterfall, but it doesn't really look great here at these rocks and so on. It's a really flat image and no more than 3 stars for this image. So it really improved my photography when I look at my bad photos. Taking bad photos is nothing bad, I think. When you have a look at them and think about what can you do better, when you maybe come into a similar situation when you are out next time for photography, or when you go back to the same spot and try to take a better photograph. So try it by yourself. Go to your computer, have a look at your photographs, maybe what you have taken 2 months ago, and try to think about what can you do better, and maybe you could also go back there and try it again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, please give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. I'm really happy about. And comment below the video. It really helps me to get my video better ranked on YouTube. All these things, thumb up, subscribe, hit the bell, all these things, it really helps me. So I'm really happy about. So I thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.
I'm the landscape you need to see. You are the artist I'll never be. Stay with me and I have no doubt you'll make a painting that makes you proud.